This is a full face using products that aren't made by Mitchell. For my brows I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade in the shade Soft Brown. When I tell you this stuff lasts forever, I'm not lying. You need the smallest amount to fill in your brows and it has taken me 4 years to hit pan. For primer I'm using the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I'm applying this to the perimeters of my face and blending it in. I'd say it has a hydrating formula, it works well for my dry skin. Next I'm using the Pink Honey Camo Concealer in the shade Take Cover to carve out my brows and create a base for my eyeshadow. It is very pigmented and a little goes a long way. Once I have the product laid out, I'm using a sponge to blend it out. I'm using the Beauty Bay Jade Thirlwall palette. I'm using the shade Capricorn in the outer half of my eye. This is a throwback. I've had this palette for 4 years and I've only hit pan on a couple of shades. Next I'm using the shade Nefertiti and I'm using that to blend out the previous shade. Going in with Chakra, I'm using that to further blend out the previous shades. Going back in with the concealer, I'm using this to carve out my crease. I'm setting the concealer with the shade Full Moon. Using Capricorn, I'm blending between the light and dark shades. To top that off, I'm using the shade Confetti. This gives me drip drip vibes. This is the eyes finished. For foundation, I'm using the Fenty Beauty Ease Drop Skin Tint in the shade 1. I'm applying it with a spatula brush first and then using a sponge to blend it out. For my face concealer, I'm using the PS Liquid Concealer in the shade 01. I'm applying this under my eyes, on my chin, cupid's bow, nose and forehead, and again blending that out with a sponge. I'm setting my face using the Rimmel London Stay Matte Powder in Transparent. For bronzer, I'm using the Fenty Beauty Cheeks Out Cream Bronzer in the shade Butter Biscuit. I'm applying it to my cheekbones, forehead and nose and then using a fluffier brush to blend it out. For blush I'm using the Matte Glow Play Blush in the shade Heat Index. I'm applying it to my cheeks and across my nose. For highlighter, I'm using the Revolution Skin Kiss highlighter in the shade Ice Kiss. I used to love using this product, it was my go-to shade to create that glazed donut effect. For lip liner, I'm using the Maybelline Tattoo Liner in Brown. I know this is intended for the eyes, but it's so creamy and I've always used this for the lips. For lipstick, I'm using the NYX Lingerie lipstick in the shade Push Up. To top that off, I'm using the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Praline. For mascara, I'm using the Max Factor Masterpiece Turn 1 Mascara. This is where I messed up. I managed to get mascara on my cheek and I thought there was no turning back after this. Thankfully I managed to get it off with minimal damage to the products used underneath. I'm setting my face using the NYX Dewy Finish Setting Spray. And here is the finished look.